Mortal Kombat 2 is directed by Simon McQuoid, who also directed the first Mortal Kombat movie that came out in 2021. This sequel to the 2021 reboot manages to be both a strictly for the fans spectacle and a chaotic, high budget slugfest. It doubles down on the lore of the games, finally introducing the long awaited Johnny Cage and the tyrannical Shao Kahn. Now, before I get into the actual review and breaking it all down, here are my thoughts of the first the reboot, the first Mortal Kombat movie, which I did do a review. It's a very old video, but I still did it. So go ahead and check out my review for the first Mortal Kombat movie. But yeah, the first Mortal Kombat movie, I didn't drive out to my local theater and watch it because like 2021 was the whole year. Warner Brothers was like, they were like, we're gonna release movie theaters simultaneously, we're gonna release movies simultaneously in theaters and on HBO Max, which was a stupid, like, controversial decision, and I did not like it. But yeah, I but yeah, saved some gas money. But anyway, I saved some gas money and I decided to watch the movie on HBO Max, and I had some mixed feelings. Pretty much, I thought the first movie was, it had a lot of problems. It relied so much on fan service from the games, instead of having a story, instead of having like a narrative. There is story in the first Mortal Kombat movie, in the first film, but it wasn't enough. They didn't stretch it out because they just focused so much on fan service and the actual Mortal Kombat tournament. The rest of it is just very thin and sluggish. And and here we are with the second Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, I will say this: Mortal Kombat 2 is definitely a step up from the first film. So that's a big win. So, and the other thing is that the biggest win for the sequel is the casting. Karl Urban steps into the ego-driven boots of Johnny Cage with a performance that many critics call the soul of the film. His giant personality provides much needed levity against the otherwise grim backdrop of the interdimensional tournament. And wonderful there are some wonderful additions as well. Adeline Rudolph, who plays Katana, brings a regal yet lethal presence to the screen. Martyn Ford as Shao Kahn is a physically imposing villain that feels pulled directly from the arcade cabinet. And Tati Gabriella. No, I think it's Gabrielle. Gabrielle as Jade delivers some of the film's most fluid fight choreography, even though, in my opinion, she doesn't look like Jade because the hair but anyway, whatever. Appearances, hair aside, she did a great job. All of them did a great job. um but yeah, like, the actions and the visuals in this film is true to its roots. The film doesn't skimp on the grisly promise of its source material. The fight sequences are frequent and fast paced, supported by what the New York Times described as eye popping prosthetics, while the story involving a quest for Shinnok's amulet can feel a bit sludgy or repetitive. The creative fatalities and martial arts choreography keep the momentum high. So yeah, like, overall, my final verdict for this is that it is not a flawless victory. Mortal Kombat 2 is not a flawless victory, but it is a fun one. It's a fun victory. It's a fun one. It's a fun, entertaining sequel, and definitely a step up in the right directions. It's definitely a step up in the right directions, even though I felt like they should have really, like, stretched out some of the scenes and added more, like, story to balance the actual Mortal Kombat tournament, because like, I get it, the Mortal Kombat, these games are focused, as this is coming from a guy who's a huge fan of this is coming from a guy who's a huge fan of the I'm a huge hardcore fan of the Mortal Kombat franchise. Um, but I will say I wanted more story. I wanted more narrative to really balance out the actual Mortal Kombat tournament and the action sequences. But anyway, besides that, maybe not a whole scene, not a complete scene, but maybe like a dialogue or two, maybe like one a dialogue. Like this is the first time like Liu Kang and Katana are meeting each other, and fans who are and Mortal Kombat fans know there is a romance between Liu Kang and Katana. And they just and she he just completely ignores Katana and just is focusing on avenging or bringing back um oh my god, fucking why am I blanking on his name? Kung Lao, bringing back Kung Lao's to life. And this is the first time Sonya Blade and Johnny Cage are meeting, and we all know the romance between them. But like stuff like that, stuff like that. They should have added more stuff, but to really balance it all out. But it is what it is. Mortal Kombat 2, it succeeds as an old school video game trash extravaganza. This movie is loud, it's violent, and unapologetically weird. If you're looking for deep character arcs, you are definitely going to be disappointed, just like I was at some of the moments. But if you want to see Karl Urban punch monsters while everything explodes in the background, this is exactly what you're looking for. And boy, they delivered on that part, and it was so fun. And Karl Urban was so entertaining. I just could not stop. He has so much charisma and energy when playing the character of Johnny Cage. You know, Carl Urban was not my first choice, my first actor to play the Johnny Cage. And I don't want to even get into Jade. I really don't want to get into Jade, but it is what it was. It is what it is, and I thought he did a great job portraying this character. But yeah, I would give this movie a 3 out of 5. I don't I don't really like giving ratings, but if I had no choice, I would give it a 3 out of 5 dragon medallions. All right, dragon medallions. And by the way, yes, it has been announced that a third film is already in development by screenwriter Jeremy Slater. It looks like the franchise isn't slowing down. So yeah, yeah, there was like some things that were going on. Maybe the first Mortal Kombat movie came out in 2021. It's 2026. I think the reason there was a huge gap in between these two films was because of maybe the pandemic. Like people, like the actors, like this movie came out in 2021, the same year, like Warner Brothers made an announcement that they were putting brand new movies in theaters simultaneously, in theaters and on HBO Max. I did not watch Dune in theaters. I watched it on HBO Max. I did not watch Suicide Squad in theaters. I watched it on HBO Max. I didn't watch Mortal Kombat in theaters. I watched it on HBO Max. And the same thing with Wonder Woman 1984, 82, or whatever the fuck it's called. Um, yeah, like it was a stupid decision. I was against it, but it was what it was, and it's in the past now. It's long in the past. But I think that might be the reason. Another reason might be because of the big one was the 2023 SAG, the writer strike, the SAG after strike. Um, which production was paused, and then like a couple months later it was resumed after negotiations and deals with that. So maybe those two are the biggest reasons why there's a huge gap in between, and it's been a long while since we've seen these characters and these actors playing these characters. So yeah. And because maybe the actors might have been on lockdown or isolation during the pandemic themselves. But yeah, besides that, that's all I have to say for Mortal Kombat 2, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking time to listen to my review, my thoughts. Please like and subscribe. Definitely subscribe, because that would help me and my YouTube channel out a lot. I appreciate it, everyone. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you in my next video. Peace.